And so just being in a coffee shop is pretty good place, I'd
Yeah.
say.
Yeah. And bear
Um,
in mind, most women who are single view it as a positive if any reasonably plausible guy approaches them flirtatiously and respectfully and has this sort of lighthearted, what my old friend Eben Pagan called cocky funny, right? Have a cocky funny mindset where
yeah,
like I'm confident, this is a low stakes interaction. I'm just going to make a few quips. Like I don't expect it to go anywhere. Women love that. And if a single woman goes to a coffee shop and no guy does that, it's it's a little sad. And if at least one or two guys kind of validate her as being worth approaching, at least as a fellow human, like that's a win for her.
yeah,
So help her have a good day, right? That's the
yeah,
mindset to have, not, oh my God, I'm not good enough for her. I'm going to try to approach her anyway. I know she's going to shoot me down. Like, don't have that mindset, right? You're just there
right,
to have lighthearted fun and banter. And
yeah,
if it leads somewhere, great. If not, it's great practice.
yeah, yeah. And again, not to say like I want to be like mindful and fully acknowledge the people who are like thinking like, no, these guys, they're not acknowledging all the pitfalls and risks. Like, yeah, like for me, like there have been cases where you go up to a woman and, sorry, I have a boyfriend. Sorry, I'm actually married,
Mhm.
and like, and that's inherently awkward, right? That's weird and that sucks. But there's no way of putting that risk at zero. There's no way that you can know from just looking at
Yeah.
a woman that you want to approach. There's going to be women that are taken, and that's not like life ending. That's not like she's not like, okay, she's taken, but like maybe she thinks you're cool. Not enough
Mhm.
to get rid of her boyfriend, but it's still she might appreciate it nonetheless.
Yeah. And it doesn't have to be awkward. It can just be like, oh, that's cool. Good for you. He's a lucky guy. Um,
Yeah,
Thanks for letting me know.
that's a good follow up. Always, he's a lucky guy. That's a good response to give. Um, I have my own sort of recommendations. I didn't want to turn this podcast into like actionable dating advice, but that is cool. We're kind of getting into that. For me, I like visual cues. So like when guys sometimes are like, what do I go say? Like, oh man, she's really hot. Like what do I do? And it's like a really easy one, by the way, is tattoos, but
Mhm.
bracelets, necklace, shoes, any like clothing item, typically clothing items. But like recently, I was in Singapore, and I was at this Jurassic Park place, and a couple of these attractive French girls were there, and me and my buddies we were there, and I'm like, oh, we should go approach them. And then my buddy's like, oh no, we're not going to do that, and they just ran away like fucking
Mhm.
pussies. And then you guys suck. No, and then I went up to one of them, and she didn't even speak English, and I just said, oh, that's a really pretty necklace.
Mhm.
And then her friend kind of translated. They were both French, but the one actually spoke
Mhm.
English. And right away, she just starts smiling, like, "Oh yeah, oh thank you, cool." And, "Oh, you're from France. What are you doing in Singapore?" And, "Oh, I'm from Canada." And, "Oh, I'm a
Mhm.
podcaster. You're working marketing. Oh, cool. All right." And then we go out, and then we
Mhm.
have dinner with them. Then we go to a nightclub after and have a fun time. And
Mhm.
so like stuff like that, picking on cues. I imagine you would agree with that.
Yeah, absolutely. And, bear in mind, if you can just, you don't even have to comment on the woman's own clothing or accessories or glasses or whatever. It can just be commenting on the local ambience or other people around
Yeah,
you, or
hundred
like,
percent.
commenting on the coffee or the food or
Yeah,
the decor or whatever. But if you're
definitely.
commenting on a woman's appearance, then try to focus on things that she made conscious aesthetic choices about, right?
Yeah,
Not her face or her boobs or whatever,
yeah,
that
yeah, exactly.
she had no control over how those grow. But like, if she's wearing a necklace, she made the choice that morning to put that necklace on, or she
Yeah,
wears it habitually and it means something to her, or like every single
yeah.
choice that she makes
Or a
about her
tattoo.
appearance, her tattoo, right? I love watching Ink Master with my wife, which is all about tattoo artistry, even though we have
Okay.
no tattoos. Um, and it can actually be worthwhile for guys to like learn a little bit about female fashion and jewelry and even makeup, like most guys can't even tell, is she wearing makeup or not? And they have no idea whether it's really good. But if you can notice like, oh, cool shade of, eyeliner or whatever it is,
Really? You'd recommend
spending
that?
an hour watching makeup tutorials on YouTube actually would level up most incel guys
Nice. That's
more than
hilarious.
watching any random hour of
Andrew
dating
Tate.
advice.
You're
Yeah.
watching Andrew Tate.
So, oh my, it's better than that. Yeah.
Yeah, really? You would? That's it. Wouldn't have thought of that. You think commenting on a woman's like eyeliner or like makeup could be a good move?
Um, if it's, yeah. If it's dramatic enough that it shows real, like,
It shows that you really took notice, right? If you're in the lineup at the
yeah,
coffee shop and like, hey, nice eyeliner, like that. That means you were looking very carefully
yeah,
at her,
yeah, you're
which is
observant. And,
yeah,
you're not just looking at her boobs or her face, right? You're actually looking at,
yeah,
it shows perspective taking. And we emphasize this so heavily in Mate. What is her life like? What did she do that day before you met her? What choices did she make about her appearance? If you can just do a little bit of that perspective taking, um, it's hugely reassuring to women because it means, number one, you're probably not a psychopath who can't do perspective taking, and number two, uh, you're kind of interested in her as a person rather than just as a body.
yeah. And in terms of like, you said commenting on the ambiance, what's happening at the restaurant and bar. That's always great too.
Mm-hmm.
Like, man, it smells really nice in here. Or man, that pepperoni pizza, oh, that's to die
Mm-hmm.
for.
Yeah,
Or you're at like a park and like, oh my god, wow, that tree is, wow, I've never seen that before. Wow, wonder what that is. That can like
yeah.
strike up conversation too. Like if you're like near someone and like you make a
Mm-hmm.
comment and then she'll be like, oh yeah, I wonder what that is too. Yeah, I wonder, I might have seen that somewhere else, and then
Mm-hmm.
you can have a conversation that way.
Yeah, and it's very unthreatening. Like if and it immediately creates this bond where like I'm talking with you about a third thing,
Yeah,
right? That we are sharing an experience of in the park or the coffee shop or whatever, rather than just it's two of us looking at
right.
each other and like you are the topic of conversation. Make the topic something other than
Yeah,
just yeah, the person you're
yeah.
approaching.
The nightclub scene is interesting, and I was saying earlier I've fairly gamified that scene for my friends, and to a
Mm-hmm.
degree for myself. um, where I'll give friends various kinds of quotas to fulfill, which some
Mm-hmm.
of them hate, but some kind of appreciate at least the principle of it. Of people who tend to have a hard time approaching, like, all right, hey buddy, so tonight I'm going to be with you. Let's do three today. Let's approach three
Mm-hmm.
women tonight, and that can be kind of helpful. Sometimes, usually though, my friends are like, seven women? Come on, man. I'm like, dude, come on. That's light work. You got 4 hours. You can do seven. That's not.
Yeah.
It's actually not, because especially not all of them are going to be long. Some of them are just going to be just utter rejections, and that's
Mm-hmm.
what fuels the fear, right?
Mm-hmm.
And again, the risks are 100% real, and they suck. Like, I was at a club in Barcelona last year with a friend, and he goes up and approaches this woman. Pretty solid approach. He said something. I forget what he said, but it was a solid approach, and she right away was like, just like
Mm-hmm.
didn't even dignify his approach with any verbal response. Just straight up like, just get away from me. And so that sucks. But I find just like the principle of exposure therapy, just voluntarily confronting that which
Mm-hmm.
you are most afraid of, which Peterson talks about a lot. That kind of mindset can be helpful. And even if you don't have friends, like I've, you know, again, I tend to be more on the extroverted side, more willing to kind of
Mm-hmm.
approach. But like this year, one kind of learning curve or risk was like going out solo, which probably to maybe most guys listening that might sound terrifying, and was terrifying for me, because you're going there and like not having a sense of like support or like some kind of like foundation, or like have, because when you go in the nightlife scene, it's very chaotic. There's all kinds of crazy things happening. There's women of different varieties, and maybe someone's having a fight over here, or someone's making out over here, and oh, this girl, she was with this guy, now she's with this guy, and oh my god, they were making out, now they broke up, and like all this stuff, you know. But I've found actually a lot of benefit, and initially in, you know, mentally kind of reframing, like, hey, I'm gonna go out tonight, I'm gonna maybe talk to, you know, 5 or 6 women, I'm gonna enjoy my drink, I'm gonna enjoy the music too. And I think this started of like one time a friend just didn't want to go, and I was like, why do I need a friend to go? And so I went out, and I actually really enjoyed it. And the reason why I enjoyed it actually was I you know, built up some level of confidence already, which I know is not going to be there for all guys, and you know, it's easier to go with a wingman. But there was this sense of like spending less time brooding over or like discussing, like this can happen when you go out with your friends and like your buddy gets rejected and he's back, oh my god, she's such a fucking bitch, like she said yes to that guy and that guy's such a weirdo, she didn't say yes to me, like what the fuck, and you spend 4 minutes brooding about it. But like going solo can have its own benefits too. And yeah, I think I'd recommend that. I don't know, I haven't heard any other dating coaches talk about this, but if you're, I guess if I'm making a recommendation, if you're, you know, totally new to the scene, and just to step back for a second, why I recommend the nightlife scene is that it is very much designed and engineered for romantic experience. So it's not weird to approach women there, whereas it is weirder, but I would still say it's not weird to approach a woman at a coffee shop or a restaurant. But the nightclub, it is encouraged. Like that's kind of what's happening. And women want free drinks. And yeah, a lot of women are going to use you for free drinks. They'll be nice to you for a few minutes, and then after be like, you know, get it. They'll just go off with another guy for free drinks. But nonetheless, it's a much more conducive, romantically conducive, or at least conducive to having interactions with women in that environment. And so I recommend it. And so I would recommend guys who are maybe afraid of doing that or want more interactions to go and just set like a target. Like, okay, I'm going to go out Friday night at this local nightclub. I'm going to talk to 3 girls tonight. And mentally, I'm not going to let their rejection feed into my sense of self-worth. And this is kind of, I've talked about this in other areas of my podcast, just different things I'm working on, and in psychotherapy and kind of inner narratives and trauma and kind of reshaping inner belief structures. But really go out with like the mantra that I use is like, my self-worth is not dependent on whether women reject me or validate me. So I have my own sense of self-worth. If I go out and approach a beautiful woman and she's not interested, or maybe gives a really horrible response, I'm not going to let that define me as a man, and I'm going to still maintain that for myself. So I think those kind of things are crucial.
Yeah.
Okay. And one thing I really like to emphasize to young men is the line between creepy and charming is actually quite blurry. It's not cut and dry. 2 guys who maybe even like smell differently, look differently, or wearing something different, or how they're saying it, or in what environment they're saying it, can just register completely, like just polar opposite differently. One could be like, you get away from me, you fucking creep, like, but the other one could be, oh my god, he's so cute, okay, yeah, I'll have a drink, or I'll hang out with him. And so a lot of it is like how you also say it, and what kind of energy you're bringing into it. So curious on your thoughts on that, and then I have another follow-up question to that.
I mean, if you really want to maximize creepiness, then the mindset is, oh, I'm approaching this woman. She's better than me. She's probably going to shoot me down. I have a sexual goal with her, and I'm inexperienced at this. That automatically gives off creepy vibes, right? The anti-creepy vibes is,
How does it do that? How does that for people who are curious?
Women just have a very deep instinctive ability to sense a man's intentions and his level of risk and his personality traits. So if you're acting the way that a serial killer would act, or the way that a narcissistic sociopath would act, that might attract a certain kind of woman for a certain kind of relationship, but it's not going to attract most women most of the time. So the anti-creepy thing to do is, I'm a person, she's a person. We're going to start a conversation as 2 grown-up people who are having fun and are out, and we're enjoying life, and we are noticing what's around us, and we're noticing, details about each other, and we're going to form a conversation based on that. And you also are approaching it with a mindset, not that, oh, she's cute and I definitely want to approach her as a possible sexual partner or girlfriend, but rather she looks interesting and maybe she's a
Hmm.
person worth getting to know. And I have certain standards
Hmm.
for what a girlfriend would be. Maybe she will meet those standards, maybe not, but I'm not going to prejudge based on just her appearance about whether she's um,
Hmm.
going to meet my standards. So
But what
you
if you're
have
looking
to,
for short term guys that want short term fun, where
if
it's
you're looking for short-term fun, you still have to assess her behaviorally. You still have to assess her personality traits, because young dudes, if she has borderline personality disorder,
right?
right, or she's a colossal narcissist, or she's unreliable, or she's an alcoholic, drug addict, she doesn't know how to use birth control, uh, she's a blabbermouth, she can't keep your secrets. Even a short-term
Yeah.
one night stand can ruin your life.